Hello Aries, and welcome to Eye of Gnosis Tarot. My name is Ewan, and today I will be doing a reading for you. This is a timeless reading, so if you have a Aries Sun, Moon or Rising sign, then this reading is for you. Now today I will be using the ThothTarot deck. This is the one that I have been going through on my channel for each of the cards individually. It is arguably one of the more symbolic and deeper of the tarot decks, and I'm using the small version because the large version doesn't currently fit on my tarot mat here, at least for the Celtic Cross spread, which is the spread we will be doing today. Now if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. I do tarot readings, I do tarot tutorials, and of course I do videos on each of the individual cards of the Thoth Tarot deck, although their symbolism and meaning can be carried on to any tarot deck. Although there are a couple of differences, but we'll go through that if we come across the cards, and of course if you watch those videos of mine. Now, something to keep in mind today, Aries, is that this is a timeless reading, so it can be for anything and for anyone, and please use your intuition to help guide you towards the message that the cards reveal today. And if you haven't already, please do go and check out my Celtic Cross Tarot tutorial video, as this will explain this arrangement in much more detail. So Aries, without further ado, we will be putting down the first card, the Query. And I just want to invite us all to enter this sacred space. We are holding the structure of the universe in our hands here. Get in touch with our intuition, and to know that with every end in our lives comes a new beginning. And then we have Aries. We have the Seven of Cups there, the Debauch card in the Thoth Tarot. So I think at the moment, Aries, and this makes sense with the time of year coming up to your season if you're watching this video when it comes out. You've got a lot of options, Aries, a lot of options. Perhaps you're overdoing too much of something, but not to the point where it's become stagnant and boring, but rather it's on the verge of becoming either an addiction, or it's just starting to not taste sweet in your mouth anymore, starting maybe to make you feel a little sick. Let's put down the rest of the cards to bring more context to this reading. So we're going to look at the challenge for you, Aries, regarding this situation. We have the previous card, the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is known as pleasure, and it is the ultimate balance of emotions. It is in the Sephiro of Tiphereth, which is also known as Christ consciousness or Buddha nature, and this really is the fulfillment of all our desires, and to a point where everything is just right. It really is the Goldilocks card of the tarot. And here in the challenge position, Aries, I wonder whether this is the challenge of trying to return back to this contentment, this feeling of not having to do too much or too little, and being okay with your current situation. And it'd be interesting to see as we go through the cards why this is a challenge for you at the moment, Aries. So as always, we put one card we do know, one card we don't know, and then again a card that we do know. And the next card will be your conscious mind, Aries. What is on your mind at the moment? Again, a very fitting card there for you, Aries. We have the Hanged Man, Major Arcana. And the Hanged Man is essentially the ultimate sacrifice, letting go of things that we don't need in our lives, even if we may want them in our lives. It very much is that song. You don't always get what you want. So if you try sometimes, you might just find you get what you need. And I think here we are perhaps needing to let go of whatever this addiction, this obsession, the too many choices available to us, whatever it may be for you, Aries. And it's quite interesting as we look at those cards, because we're getting quite a lot of water energy already. We will see what happens next. So another card that we don't know about is, of course, our unconscious. What is driving this Hanged Man, and what is causing this Six of Cups to be a challenge for us? We have another major arcana there for you, Aries. We have your opposite sign's major arcana. This is Libra's major arcana, the adjustment card, also known as the justice card in other tarot decks. But as Crowley states, the universe does not work off justice, it works off adjustment. Justice is a human concept. And so in this sense, Aries, I think you think deep down inside, you know, your intuition is telling you, and if you've tapped into your intuition right now, you can probably confirm this, Aries, that your intuition is telling you that you need to bring things into balance. You need to adjust your life. There's probably too much clutter in your life, whether that be metaphorical or literal. Too many commitments, too many opportunities, too many temptations, dare I say. And if we're ever going to reach back to this place of pleasure, true pleasure, with the capital P, in a platonic sense, then we really do need to start changing. Now, of course, we don't know what we need to change just yet, Aries. Of course, maybe stopping this addiction, giving it up, the sacrifice is part of that, but of course we don't have enough information yet to confirm. I think the Shadow card would be an interesting card to see at the end of this reading, and for those of you who don't know, I always pull a card from the bottom of the ThothTarot deck, and this represents the warning, or at least the thing that we need to watch out for with regard to the whole reading. And if you have any predictions for that card as we go throughout the reading, please do put them in the comments section, and we'll see if both you and I are right at the end. Now personally, I don't think I have enough information here to intuitively know what the Shadow card would be. But I think after maybe we've got the first cross down, I might have an inkling of what it could be, Aries. So another card that we do know is our near past. And of course, the time context here for you, Aries, it's entirely dependent on whatever you feel this reading is about. Whether that's a few minutes ago, a few days ago, a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago. And if this is a long-standing addiction or habit, this could even be many years ago. We have another major arcana. Will we get the four framing your minor arcana? That's the question, isn't it? So this is the universe card. This is the world card in most other tarot decks. And of course, as I've described before, Crowley says that the universe is much broader than the world that we live in. And so he changed the name of this card to, well, the universe. So I feel here, Aries, that you have, or at least had, everything going. You flung yourself out into the universe like the fool, and you took everything that was on offer. And perhaps this is the too many choices that we're talking about. Maybe you were in a stuck period of your life and you got out and you found so many different people, different career options, different interests, different hobbies, and now you just don't know which ones to select. And I wonder whether the Shadow card here, it may be even the Three of Discs, warning us not to put too much effort into everything. Yes, and I wonder whether the Advice card, which we will have down here, Aries, may be the Eight of Pentacles. But at the moment we only have water energy. Of course we have a little bit of air here with the Adjustment card belonging to Libra. Okay, now we're going to look at something else we don't know, Aries, and that's going to be your near future. And again, this is time dependent on whatever you may feel this reading is about. And we have the Ace of Discs, so new physical beginnings in your life, Aries. And I think this is the thing that we have narrowed our focus towards, Aries. We have too many emotions going on, too many options, and we want to return to a simpler time, and we know we have to sacrifice something in order to bring balance to our lives, Aries. We've already seen everything there is to see, at least for what we need. And I think at the moment, consciousness is asking us to focus on something material that is going to give back to us in dividends. Okay. That is just a slight interpretation for now. As the advice card, or at least the self-image card, it can be either, it can be both, will help clarify this in the pillar, which we'll be putting along here. And also the way I do it, it also looks like a second cross. So this is already very interesting for you, Aries. I would love to hear in the comments below what you think this may be about in your current life. And we'll see what consciousness advises for you as we move forward with this physical focus in our lives that the Ace of Discs is representing. So this will be the advice card next. And again, it can also be your self-image, and the two often are the same thing. We have the Lust card, also known as the Strength card in other tarot decks. Now this is not base lust, this is a lust for life. This is embodying what it means to be consciousness in a human being and embracing this physical world for all the joys and all the experiences it has to offer. And I feel what consciousness is saying here to you, Aries, is that one singular thing, if you know what it is, it could be a job, it could be an investment, it could be a house, something smaller like an apartment, anything physical. It could even just be your next hobby project. You could have a hobby like me where you collect little wargaming miniatures, and maybe you have tons and tons of armies and you haven't painted any of them, and you're so attached to all of them. Yeah? And you remember that time when you got your first army? It was so much simpler. You just bring that one army that was fully painted to the battlefield, and people would look in awe at your miniatures. Whereas now you have a pile of grey shame, and now consciousness is, if this is a mundane example for you, consciousness is asking maybe to stop buying these miniatures and decide what you're going to focus on now with your project. So that's just a little analogy there, Aries. Of course, that will not be the message for most of you, but there may be an Aries out there who it is a message for. But whatever that miniature hobby is for you, whether it is, again, your job is your hobby, your investments, something physical that we're talking about here. And once you have found what this is, or to find what it is, we need to embrace what brings us joy in life, what allows us to experience life. Yeah? What thing at the moment is really, really going to make you feel pleasure? Again, this is not base pleasure. This is like platonic love almost. And I think I heard a very interesting thing the other day, and it was a psychological exercise whereby we were asked to go to the dinner table at the end of our lives and look at all the versions of us we could have been and talk to them all. And we would find then that those of us that we prefer talking to are the versions of us that did the right thing in life, what we wanted to do. And if we haven't already done it, then that is really telling us that we need to get started, Aries. And I know as a fire sign, Aries, you are more than willing to get started. You are the first sign of the zodiac and always rearing to go. Okay. So what is the environment like at the moment, Aries, that is supporting or blocking this, perhaps? And we have that Eight of Pentacles. I thought it would be an advice card, but it's actually in your environment. So I think, again, this is very nicely playing into that idea that there are too many things going on. Perhaps you have stockpiled. This is very much the card of stockpiling. Sun in Virgo. It's the harvest time card. You've gathered your resources. So I think consciousness is saying that this is worth the risk, if you feel it is a risk, this sacrifice, to pursue this one thing that's going to bring you pleasure in life. There's nothing to worry about in terms of our physical security and stability. The discs are the pentacles, by the way, in other tarot decks, and they do represent matter, physical abundance and resources. And it looks like you are in abundance at the moment, at least physically. So it's definitely worth taking the plunge, Aries. Definitely worth taking the plunge. Like I said, Aries, you are no stranger to taking the plunge. Now let's have a look at the hopes and fears. So this is what I mean when I say the second column looks a bit like a cross when I do it. For I both put the hope and the fear down. And the way I see it is this is like a gateway position here, the hopes and fears position. Our hopes help us move towards the final outcome, and our fears are keeping us back. Yeah, so it's another advice card in a way, but it's not to do with self-image unless the card seems evidently about you. Okay, let's have a look. In the hopes, we have the Dominion card, the crossroads of energy. Maybe hoping that this will give you further incentive, further motivation, further, as we call in Yorkshire, gumption, in order to move forward to other tasks once you have made up your mind about all these varying tasks here and focused on one thing. And I think this is very much a form of advice here, Aries, in that it makes a lot of sense that once you've got one thing ticked off your list, it'll make it easier to do the other things rather than staring at the list and going, oh no, I've got all these things that I need to do, and becoming overwhelmed by it. Yeah, make a decision. There's no risk behind it at the moment, so just do it. Yeah, just do it, and then options will open up to you, and this is what you're hoping for. But what are you afraid of? Yeah, is it the material risk? Because I don't think you should be afraid of that if that is the case. Let's see. Indolence, very interesting. So the Eight of Cups. So here we've got the 6, we've got the 7, we've got the 8 of Cups. There's a lot of earth and water energy here, and as we know, earth and water leads to growth. And I think what you're afraid of here, Aries, is quite simply this addiction, this too many choices in our lives, whether we're giving up the addiction so we can focus on that one thing, or give up all the choices in our lives so we can focus on that one thing. I think you're afraid that you'll fail. And this isn't the small failures that is the 7 of discs. We're talking great emotional failure here. We're talking depression. We're talking stagnancy. We're talking a life that is boring. The 8 of Cups is often described as the morning after card, except for you didn't even enjoy yourself at the party the night before. And I think it's very pertinent, Aries, for your sign to be afraid of such things. I think the 8 of Discs is saying you don't have to worry about this. You've got physical security, and perhaps maybe practicing some meditations on gratitude for your physical security at the moment, in whatever level that may be. Maybe practicing that gratitude will help prevent this feeling of indolence, this horrible taste in the mouth. Okay, it's very interesting, Aries. Very interesting indeed. So now the final outcome. Now this is not a card that I predict, but I think I have a prediction. I wonder whether this is going to be the Four of Pentacles, the Power card. But we'll see, Aries. Okay, and of course, if you have a prediction for the Shadow card, please do put that down in the description. But if you feel you need to see the final outcome card, just wait a second there and then put your prediction. And would you look at that? We have the Four of Pentacles, as predicted. And I think, Aries, that you are a fantastically powerful individual. You are ruled by Mars after all, and Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and Sun in Capricorn is of course the Power card. It is one of my cards. I am a Sun in Capricorn, and I think here is a very clear message, Aries, is that once you have this one thing settled upon and giving up all these other things that just do not add to your life, you've experienced life, you've seen all there is to see, we need to give it up. We need to create balance in our lives by giving these things up. And that balance is focusing on the point and getting to the point. And by getting to the point, we're going to find a great amount of pleasure and lust in our lives. A lust for life, remember, not this kind of lust, which is the debauch card. We really are transmuting that debauch card, I suppose we could say, into the lust card. A higher form of pleasure. And really, this is what the challenge is asking us to do. And we do not need to be afraid, Aries. You have plenty of physical resources. And once you get this one thing settled upon, you can expand your horizons. You will have choices that matter, rather than an infinite amount of pointless choices. It doesn't matter whether I have everything on the buffet. What's it going to do to add to my life? Well, nothing. But if you select one thing, get your nutritional requirements, the calories inside of you, to get the energy to work towards what you want, then options will open up to things that do matter. It's a very crude analogy there. And although you are afraid of overdoing it, perhaps you're afraid that you will not be able to give up this addiction, I do believe that if you really embrace this power, which is Mars in Aries, this is one of your cards, Aries. Something that completely flew over my head. But of course, Dominion is the Mars in Aries. This is your ruling card. If you really embrace who you are, Aries, you embrace who you are, you will come into your power. Now, it will be a physical power, whether that is a promotion in a job, whether that is a fantastic new house, maybe even gaining a lot of money in investments that you've made. Or it could be a physical security beyond just what you've stockpiled. Now you're actually producing it yourself, Aries. You're able to build your castle and live in it comfortably. And really the only thing that is holding us back is this pursuit of pleasure with a small p. And the only thing that I think is going to help us is identifying what gives us pleasure with a capital P. Who at that dinner table at the end of your life is really speaking to you, out of all those different versions of who you've been and you could have been. And maybe that might be an exercise for you to do, Aries, is to really meditate on that, as I said earlier. It's something that I've been doing recently, and it's added a lot to my life. It's really helped me make decisions on what to do, moving forward with my career, moving forward with my friendships, and moving forwards with my love life. So once again, we have a lot of water, and we have a lot of earth energy here. We do have a tiny bit of air, and we do have some fire going on here, which is good for you, Aries. And of course, this is Leo's card, and Leo is one of your best friends. So really do embrace whatever this is, Aries, in your life that you want to focus on. And if you don't know what it is to focus on, then the consciousness is telling us to let go of some things and decide what we need to focus on. Okay. Now, as for the shadow card, again, we may have the Three of Pentacles, maybe asking us not to overdo it. Perhaps we could have the I think the major arcana could be the maybe the Aeon. And I think it's the Aeon, Aries, because the Aeon is the Judgment card in the normal, well, I say normal tarot, other tarot decks, it's the Judgment card. And what that's really saying to us is it's a new dawn, a new beginning. And the reason why I say that might be the Shadow card here, Aries, is that you already have everything. You've already had the new beginnings. You've got all the options available to you. That's why we have the Debauch card here. And the Aeon card comes before the Universe card. If you are looking for a new beginning, I don't think that is the case. The new beginning is here, and it's something I think you already have, Aries. It's something you already know you've got to do. It's a physical thing. You'll be very aware of it in your environment. And I do believe that the Eight of Discs is very much supporting this. Of course, the Eight of Discs plus the Ace of Discs is the Nine of Discs, which is a very auspicious card. It is gain. And I think what the Four of Discs here is telling us, you have a lot of power to gain here, Aries, and you focus on this one thing. And that's the point, not this new start. We're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We are adjusting here. This isn't the Towered card, this is the Adjustment card. So it could be the Three of Discs, or the Aeon card, excuse me. So please do put your prediction down in the comments below before I pull the Shadow card. And if you haven't already, please do hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching today, and do hit the little bell icon and the subscribe button to see future videos. Of course, as this is for Sun, Moon and Rising sign, if any of those placements differ in your birth chart, do have a look at my other videos. So for example, you could have an Aries Sun if you're watching this video, but your Moon might be in Taurus, your Rising sign could be in Gemini. Let's have a look at the Shadow card. It is the Three of Discs. I'm actually quite impressed there with my abilities of intuition there. So yes, this is the Three of Discs there. This is works. This is Mars in Capricorn. This is actually one of my birth chart cards. And whilst Mars in Capricorn is exalted, and of course Mars rules your sign, Aries. This is how Mars needs to be expressed for you. You need to dominate what you've got and not work too hard. Yeah. You don't need to work too hard when you've put down your efforts into one thing. You're not having to spread your energy about. You have a lot of energy here, Aries, and it's very much telling us here. You hope that you do, and we know that you do, as we can see here in the Lust card. And we also, I'd say with the Universe card too, we know you have a lot of Aries energy, Aries, should I say. Therefore, when you focus it on one task that you know is the one that matters, and again, this is for you to meditate upon, Aries. You focus on that one task, you will not need to put the work in. Life will become pleasurable. Yeah? Your work will become pleasurable. It will be, your career will be your life. And not in a Capricornian sense where they lose touch with their emotions, they lose touch with thoughts, they lose touch with their energy, and they can become a grind. Here we're talking about power. We are talking about coming into your power, Aries. We are making our job our life because we enjoy it and we want to enjoy life. Yeah. And that job doesn't have to be a career. It can be whatever you feel you need to do to get over this Debauch card and work towards the Pleasure card. And maybe the Pleasure card is asking us also to let go of any ideas of what this might be. We're not talking about speculation here. We want to ask those versions of ourselves and get a definitive answer. And this is the definitive answer you'll be finding. And you will also find, just like a scientist, that you have to let go of any false hypotheses. So again, this Adjustment card is really, we're bringing in the spirit of the scientist, which really is the air signs. And for me, if we were to look at all the air signs, I'd say Gemini is the researcher. They're the one getting all the data or the information. We have Libra, who is the ethics panel, and is really balancing and weighing up the options for the experiment. And then Aquarius, we have the professor, the one who's done it before and knows exactly how to do it and what to do, and how to process the data that Gemini has collected for them. And here with the Libra energy, I think this is the ethics of life. What matters to you? Do an experiment. Find out. Find your pleasure. And you don't have to fear anything, Aries. Be bold, be brash, be brave, just as you are, deep down inside. No matter whether you are sun, rising, or moon sign Aries, you have this within you. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a lot of planets in the first house. Very beneficial. And I see great things, really, Aries. But please, don't work too hard. Be kind to yourself. Yeah? Self-compassion. This sacrifice does not have to be painful. And indeed, I don't think it is. I think you'll feel great freedom, Aries, and you don't have to worry about not having freedom here. You have to worry about that bad taste in your mouth. Because I really do think everything is going to be okay. Yeah? Okay. Right, well, it's been a pleasure doing this reading for you, Aries. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please do hit that like button. It's completely free to do so, and so is your subscription if you'd like to see more videos like this, as well as the tutorials through certain aspects of the tarot, and of course each of the Thoth tarot cards. Of course, they are beautiful pieces of artwork, and there's a huge amount of symbolism and depth to each card. So please do go look at those videos to get more in-depth information on each of these cards. Because really, I think the joy and the pleasure within the Thoth deck is there's so much more we can gain from our understanding of the artwork, as well as our own intuitive understanding. So thank you again, Aries. I have been your host today, Eye of Gnosis Tarot, and I do hope you are doing well, wherever you are in the world, and may peace be with you all. See you again next time. Goodbye.